Good afternoon, good people, and thank you for joining me again for another office hours training. I'm Crystal L. Gunn, your financial strategist and small business advisor. And part of my job as that strategist is to help you have some aha moments, some self-discovery moments, and giving you information and helping you see what no longer serves you so that you can release those things so that you can soar. All of this helps with the breakthroughs. That's where you start to shift. And that's my number one goal, to help you shift. That's where the magic happens, in those shifts, be it in your personal finances or your overall business. And let's run this back just a little bit because it's tax time. It's tax time, y'all. And what do you have planned for your tax refunds? And last week I spoke on tax refunds and discussed 9 mistakes people make when they get their tax refund. So this week and next week, I want to go back to that list and give some other ideas of what you can do to ensure you're not making those mistakes, but instead maximizing your tax refund. So definitely go back and watch the episodes about your tax refund from last week. Now, I won't be able to get through all 9 of those mistakes. So more will be coming again next week and maybe even the following week. But let's start with the first 2 mistakes. And I believe these first 2 mistakes kind of go together when you get your tax refund. And that's not having a plan for your refund. That's mistake number 1. And impulse spending is mistake number 2. So I'm a firm believer, to be effective in anything, you need a plan. When there is no plan, you waste your time, energy, and money. And so before you even think about what you want, before you even get your refund check, think about what you want to do and what you need to do. So again, mistake number 1 and 2 is not having a plan for your refund and impulse spending. They kind of go together because a lot of people will get that refund and just go buy things. They're going to go buy another, they're going to go buy another TV for the house. They're going to bigger. They're going to go buy, gym shoes or clothes. Those are things that aren't helping to heal your financial relationship. Remember, everybody has a financial relationship. For most people, it wasn't defined by you. So it's outside forces defining your financial relationship. And it's not helping you to realize. It's not helping you to realize the life that you want to live and having a plan in order to be able to do that. So going back, not having a plan for your refund is mistake number 1, and impulse spending is mistake number 2 that people do with their tax refunds. So being effective with that refund, what do you want to do? Think about it. And then apply that, 24-hour rule. If you say, you know what, I want to go buy this. Before you go do it, think about why. Why do you even want to go buy another thing? Is it, I need to go buy a refrigerator because our refrigerator is gone out? Okay, that makes sense. Or is it, I want to go buy these new shoes, or I want to go buy this new purse, or I want to go buy this new TV? How is that, the purchase of those things, not talking about the refrigerator, because that's something that you would need for that house, which betters whatever's happening in your household, right? But how does buying another TV, more shoes, how does that impact your financial relationship? And how does that impact you today, tomorrow, and the years to come? Is it the most effective use of your refund to just go out and buy more things? Is it the most effective use of your refund? And is it going to have the biggest long term impact on your life? So just think about it. Before you even get your refund, think about what you want and what you need to do with that money. So, one thing that I definitely don't want you to do is operate out of survival mode, like giving your landlord, if you're renting, 5 or 6 months worth of rent because you have that, where there's something else that you could be doing with that money in order to make sure that your financial relationship is on a road to healing, right? The next two mistakes people make, I believe, also go together. So the next two steps people make, I'm sorry, the next two mistakes people make with their tax refund that I also believe go together. Ignoring insurance needs and ignoring long-term goals. So y'all know how I feel about insurance. GoFundMe is not an insurance policy. It is irresponsible for you to leave your loved ones who are mourning on you having to figure out how to bury you or whatever those final arrangements are, right? So you definitely need insurance for that. And I always say if you only have insurance through your job, that don't count. That's like an and one, right? So ignoring insurance needs. Do you have any life insurance? Do you have adequate life insurance right now? And when I say adequate life insurance, you may say, you know what, I got this $25,000 term life policy. Well, after that funeral, what's really left for your loved ones? Because now your revenue is going to be gone. They're not going to have that 30, 40, 50, 100,000, $150,000 that you make per year. So what happens to those that you leave behind? So is your life insurance adequate? There in the description, there is a link to um, life insurance calculator. It's a life insurance calculator. And it literally lets you go plug in some numbers and it will tell you how much money or how much life insurance coverage you should have. So now is a really good time. You got your tax refund. Now is a really good time to figure out, okay, one, do I even need insurance? If you don't, you want to call me and so that we can get you some life insurance. Two, if you have life insurance, is it adequate? And that life insurance calculator is going to let you know how much you need. So is it adequate? If it's not adequate, then we need to look at getting you some more insurance coverage so that you have adequate coverage or more than what you have now. It might not be all of what you need. So you might not be able to give your family revenue for the next 5 or 10 years, but you might be able to give your family revenue for the next 2 to 5 years, right? The other thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you're looking at your health insurance. If you're without, definitely figure out how you can have some, how you can get some health insurance because you don't want the medical bills to pile up. You still may have some medical bills even with insurance because it doesn't cover all of the costs. But if something happens to you and you have no health insurance, then that literally can wipe your family out financially, right? Or put you steps, you know, further back in your financial journey than you really want to be. So again, also with that with that tax refund, you want to look at life insurance and health insurance as well. Do you need to supplement some health insurance? Do you need some insurance that says if you are out of work, it pays you loss of wages, right? Because you might not be able to get unemployment, or maybe you can. Do you need some health insurance because you're self-employed and you couldn't even afford what was happening within the marketplace? There's insurance brokers that you can go to find better health insurance or some health insurance if you don't have any. Now is the time to look at it because you have the cash through that tax refund to be able to make those type of decisions that serve you as opposed again to going out and buying new things or just blowing the money on something and then you look up and you had $8,000 or $5,000 in a refund And now you can't tell, well, what did I do with that money? Right. So again, go back and watch the training on life insurance basics and life insurance mistakes so that you're not making those same mistakes again this year. The other thing is long-term goals or big goals, right? So you may want to buy a house. Okay, you're renting and your lease is up in August or September. So you want to buy a house. Well, how can those funds help in that process? They can go towards down payment. And you may say, okay, well, I'm getting down payment assistance. I know I want to try to get down payment assistance. That's fine. But down payment assistance comes at the end of that loan. There's things that needs to happen before you even get that mortgage, right? Earnest money deposit, getting the inspections done. And I always tell my clients, and when I do workshops on mortgage prep, if you got to have that, if you do that inspection, you want to do an inspection on every house that you make an offer on, right? And so if you do an inspection on this one, and let's say things came back with that house that you just don't want to take on, well, guess what? Now you're not going to go through with the purchase of that one. You're going to make an offer on another house. You need additional inspection funds. They don't give you that back. So there's money that you need prior to getting the mortgage loan. So again, that earnest money deposit that you need to put down when you're submitting that offer. So those long-term goals where this refund can help with funding for those things. Let's say there's a family reunion coming up next year or at the end of the year or this summer that you really want to go to. You really want to make sure you take your family to this family reunion. It's out of state. Well, here's money. Plan for that family reunion. Again, not on the things, some people ain't even seen you before. They don't know what clothes you have in your closet right now, but paying for the flights, paying for the hotel, paying for the rent a car, having the money set aside for that. Again, an experience over things. And then another thing might be an emergency fund. With people living paycheck to paycheck, what if something happens that you need cash today? I'm not saying take your whole entire refund and just make it an emergency fund, but do we have some money set aside that if something happens, you can get to? Everybody, unfortunately, doesn't have a credit card that they can use, right? Let's say somebody died and you had to travel. You couldn't go get a plane ticket, if your credit cards are maxed out. You can't go get a plane ticket if you don't have Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover. Or what if something happens and your furnace goes out, your hot water tank goes out, and you own your home? There should be some money set aside, especially again if you don't have uh, available space on credit cards. You have to have some money sitting someplace, right? So building that emergency fund. And again, they're probably, depending upon the individual, you could list some other long-term goals or big goals that you have. But how can you use the money that you're getting in that tax refund to realize those long-term goals or those big goals? Take the time to talk to someone. And again, someone who's not just trying to sell you something, but someone who's trying to help you realize the thing that you want to do, not just throw their thing on you. I'm going to always give you some suggestions and some things to think about. But at the end of the day, the decision is ultimately yours, right? Remember, I say there's no such thing as a cookie cutter system, program, budget, whatever it is, life insurance policy, health insurance policy. There is no cookie cutter thing for these things, right? There's no cookie cutter system for these things. It has to be specific to you. So I'm going to take it all the way back and go back and say, you have to know what you want. You've got to think about it. Most people aren't thinking, what do I want so that I can live my life intentionally in order to realize the life that I want, in order to live the life that I want, and not the one that I get out of after I pay my bills, right? So be intentional with your tax refund. I'm a firm believer in experiences in life, and they are super, super important. So don't just go out and buy more things. Yeah, I talked about some things today that you really should look into, like the life insurance and either more health insurance and creating a plan for your refund. But part of that plan is not just buying more things, but how about take a part of that and spend it on an experience. If you have young kids, have they never ever, have they never been to this museum, or is it a musical that you always wanted to see? You may not take all of the funds for that, but do that so that you can have an experience and something that you typically have not done before, or something new so that you can experience something else. Your kids don't necessarily need another pair of gym shoes. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but that experience that they have is going to be the thing that they remember more than that new pair of gym shoes. So take some of it and spend it on an experience. Take some of it to improve your financial relationship. And again, don't try to figure that out for yourself. Sit with me. The conversation is different. That link is also in the bio. Schedule a consultation with me. You do not want to go back and be in the same place that you were last year after the tax refund, right? How is this money that you're getting back? How are you going to use it to improve your overall financial situation and maybe give some experiences to you and your family? You know what's next? My favorite things. My favorite thing today is, again, tax refund flex pack. So this tax refund flex pack, 10-step play to boss up your finances. And I created this because everyone can't meet with me one-on-one, but everyone can get this pack and learn how to maximize your tax refund to get on the road to permanently improve your financial relationship. It's a digital product. The link is definitely in the description. And one of the things that people say often when they find out what I do, oh, you're a financial strategist. This is on the business side or on the personal side. Oh, you're a financial strategist. You're a small business advisor. And they said, well, I need to meet with you. I said, okay, well, the link is, here's the link. Schedule that consultation. Let's see, one, if I can help, and two, is this thing a good fit for both of us? Right. But sometimes people will say, but let me fix some things first. Don't do that. Don't do that, because if you could have fixed them, you would have fixed them already. And sometimes, and I find this often, when people say, oh, well, I did this, this, and this because I was trying to fix a thing. Well, what you did didn't fix the thing. It actually made it worse, or it didn't have the impact that you thought it would have, right? Because this isn't what you do. It's like saying, okay, well, I know my brakes need to be done and I'm going to do this thing, although you don't know how to change the brakes on your car. So you wind up making the situation worse. So don't just try to go along this thing by itself. I had a consultation the other day with a person who does, this was about their business, right? And they had done things in their business using personal credit. They missed a payment because of what was going on in their business. So their credit score dropped, and now their credit cards are maxed out. So their score's dropping again. So they can't even go get more credit to help do some things and to create a plan. And the person kept saying, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed. There's no need to be embarrassed. First of all, working with me is a judge-free zone. Go back and listen to my story. I had to go through the financial storm in order to be able to go back into the storm to help people come out of the storm. So whatever it is, you can't be embarrassed about it, right? It is your story, and there is a reason, there's a lesson that you had to go through what you're going through. I literally told this young man, first of all, I need you to slow down. And I said, but what you did, what you went through in this business, there was a lesson in that. And now you won't do these things again if you put a system in place so that this doesn't happen. I said, you're just going through the motions, which I appreciate, um the enthusiasm and wanting to build this business, but you have to have a plan. You have to have a strategy, because what he was trying to do, he wasn't ready for that. He needed to continue what he was doing in his business first, because he hasn't even been in business a year, and then have a solid plan in place to do this next step. And he tried to do this next step, and this next step did not work. It cost him money. It cost him his credit score. It cost him a bunch of other things that, had he had a plan in place, it would have done that. So I'm about planning up front to save some headaches. Now, there's going to be some things, there's going to be some failures, there's going to be some stumbles, but all of that is about failing forward and learning the lessons that you need to learn to go through the process. This tax refund flex pack, again, 10-step play to boss up your finances, but it's designed to take you through a system. You might not even go through all of the 10 plays, but they're there for you to think about. Maybe you don't need to go through this one because your situation doesn't cause for that, but they're there for you to look at and for you to think about. So definitely take a look at that. The link is in the description below. And so, next steps. What are your next steps for today? You want to know me. Life is about elevation. It's a journey. So the next steps are important. The systematic steps to get you where you want to be. The systematic steps that allows you to be intentional with your actions, thoughts, words, in order to live the life that you want, in order to be able to bless the generations behind you, in order to start to eliminate and to eliminate those generational curses and be able to pass down some generational wealth and clean up the DNA for these next generations, right? So, what are these next steps today? Think about what you may want and need to spend your refund on. Don't do it yet, but definitely start to think about it. Don't go out and make the impulse purchase. Don't go out and just blow the money on more things. Sit and think about it. We are extremely reactive. What's the saying? That money is burning a hole in your pocket. For some people, they're anticipating that tax refund because they just want to go out and do a thing. But how about sit in it and say, let me figure out, what do I really need to do? How can I use this to really impact my life, not just buy more stuff? So think about what you may want and need to spend your tax refund on. Start to think about it. Talk to someone. I'm not talking about your coworker. I'm not talking about, in a whole lot of instances, your best friend or even someone in your family, because you don't know where they are in their own financial relationship, and they may give you feedback and suggestions based on what they may want for you, what they may not want for you, or where they are mentally, again, in their own financial relationship, and that's not serving you. But talk to someone. Schedule a consultation with me or some other professional to help you think the process through and make the decisions that will benefit you today, tomorrow, and down the road. And number 3, get the tax refund flex pack. If you don't want to go through the process and meet with somebody, if you say you don't have the funds to meet with somebody, you do, because you're about to get this tax refund. But if you don't want to spend that money to actually have a conversation and help and have someone guide you, an affordable way and an affordable guide is that tax refund flex pack. It's why I created it, for people who said, I'm embarrassed and I don't want to talk to somebody about my situation, or I don't want to spend the money, I don't want to invest in me to have a financial strategist or a financial coach help with this situation. Get the tax refund flex pack. Again, the link is in the description. But whatever it is you decide to do, don't do the same thing you've done in previous years and expect something different. Don't be in the same situation 6 months from now that you are today. It's time to level up and improve your financial relationship. Okay? It's time to level up, improve your financial relationship so that you can live the life you desire and not the one that you just get after paying bills. So, if this information has been helpful, then Be sure to follow my channel on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel and be sure to turn notifications on so that you don't miss a training. Also, again, if you are in need of personal or business strategy, let's talk about it. That guy that I was talking about in his business, we did a 30-minute consultation. It probably went about 40 minutes. And literally at the end, he was like, "You have given me so many nuggets that I can do the things." He was like, I gave him what he needed to focus on, because I also want to leave you with, even if you decide not to work with me, I want to leave you with some things to do and some things to think about so that that consultation has impact with you. I literally gave him 4 or 5 things. This is what you need to do over the next few months while you're paying down these credit card bills, dot, 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 dot. And he was grateful and appreciative and was like, "I'm going to put this in play. I'm definitely going to follow back up with you." Whether he does or doesn't follow back up with me for coaching, he actually has a quick, you know, next 4 or 5 months strategy that he can do in order to turn that business around and get to where he wants to be. So again, if you are in need of that personal strategy or that business strategy, let's talk about it. Go to crystalgunn.com and schedule a consultation. There's also the links specific for scheduling consultation in the description below here. And as we wrap up for today, always, always, always remember to give yourself some grace. It is not easy out here. And with everything that's going to continue to come, everything that's being shaken up right now, give yourself some grace. You don't know what you don't know. Forgive yourself for whatever happened in the past. Give yourself some grace. Keep striving for your next level. You're never in competition with anybody else. You're in competition to be better today than you were yesterday. So keep striving for your next level and never, ever, ever give up on you. I don't care how many times you have to start over. You keep starting over until you get it right. And lastly, invest in you. I promise you, it will change your life forever. And understand that you are worth the investment. So invest in you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Join me for the private Q&A following this training. The link is in the description. And as always, make it amazing. Have an incredible rest of your day. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. Be sure to join me for the private online Q&A immediately following. The link is in the description. And if you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel and turn notifications on so you never miss this opportunity. Thank you again, and I will see you on the other side.